Next up is Chloe Cattle. Chloe is a fourth-year psychobiology major with extensive research on addiction, a widely misunderstood topic. We hope you enjoy her informative speech, Addiction is a Disease, Not a Moral Failing.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming. That was a tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. So, as I said, my name is Chloe and I'm going to talk about drug addiction and treatment, the opioid epidemic, and how our nation should combat it. I really hope that this discussion will tackle some of the misconceptions which are common in society today, and many of which I once held too. So I'll never forget walking into my older brother Tom's room after hearing a strange noise as if someone was gasping for air. I found him with his head knocked back in his chair, a needle of heroin in his lap, and his lips a bluish hue. This was the first of many nearly fatal heroin overdoses he has experienced in the past 7 years. When Tom's addiction first began, I felt frustrated, confused, and helpless. I couldn't understand his seemingly selfish actions, the pain they caused my family, and his incredible potential being squandered. But my initial view of Tom's addiction was deeply flawed, as it ignored his struggles with autism, his severe depression and anxiety, and his bouts of being bullied in school. All of these are experiences and challenges that I never had to face growing up, and so I can't imagine the emotional turmoil that plagued him. We had a wonderful upbringing and the most devoted, loving parents, but Tom's childhood was marred by emotional difficulties that none of us really understood until recently. So, over the past 7 years, I've watched as my own frustration and confusion has gradually been replaced by empathy and understanding. I've seen firsthand that anger, stigmatization, and punishment have no place in addiction treatment, as they simply isolate the user and fuel the guilt and shame that lead to relapse or continued drug use. My experience is not at all an isolated one. As I'm sure many of you are aware, America is experiencing an epidemic of drug addiction, most prominently to opioids. So these are just a few of the headlines that I came across, and they pop up on my Huffington News little notifications, and they're all over the news, so I'm sure many of you are aware of this. So in 2015, over 52,000 individuals died from drug overdoses. And just to put that number in perspective, that's greater than the number of deaths from car crashes and gun homicides combined. So the medical and scientific communities generally characterize addiction as a disease in which the sufferer experiences, to some degree, diminished volitional control over his or her actions. It's well understood that there are numerous genetic influences, as well as links to other comorbid mental illnesses and developmental experiences. Therefore, some individuals are more predisposed than others to addiction, but it can happen to anyone. Addiction does not discriminate. And in addition, the way in which addiction changes the structural and chemical composition of one's brain is currently a burgeoning field of scientific research, a lot of which is happening here. And all of this research increasingly supports the idea that addiction is a brain disease and not a moral failing. Nevertheless, the general public's view of addiction still tends to be quite different. In 2005, 63% of those who were surveyed said that addiction was primarily a personal or moral weakness. So I know that this survey is a little bit old, but this is the most recent one I could find, but I do know that this opinion is still held by far too many. And also, our country's current policy of attacking this drug epidemic, it does also not fall in line with the empirically supported model of addiction as a disease. So it's been said that addiction is America's most neglected disease. Why? Well, that's because only around 1 in 10 Americans with an addiction to a drug or alcohol receives any treatment at all. So even though growing up with my brother and doing a lot of research on this, when I came across this statistic myself, I was absolutely shocked. So when an individual does seek treatment, what are their options? Well, most are first directed to the 12-step program, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. And I went into reading this, and this doctrine essentially dictates that an individual is powerless over their drug. I remember a direct quote was, "The drug bleeds us of all self-sufficiency." And they have to put their life in the hands of a higher power in order to overcome the addiction. Well, even speaking with my brother, I know that this doctrine is challenging to many, and according to addiction specialist Lance Dodds, it's only effective for around 5 to 10% of individuals, and it may be actually harmful for the over 90% of individuals for whom it doesn't work. Still, there are many other approaches. So, for example, motivational interviewing. It's a type of talk therapy that helps individuals recognize and capitalize on their own willpower and potential, which is very different from the 12-step program. Neither of which I'm suggesting is better. There's just numerous different approaches to treatment. Also, there are pharmacological approaches. So most of these attempt to reduce cravings and prevent relapse. So for example, Suboxone and Methadone. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but these are two extremely promising treatments for opioid addiction. What they do is they essentially attempt to reduce opioid cravings and withdrawal symptoms. And they do so by binding to the opioid receptor as agonist or partial agonist, for those of you who care. And despite these treatments' efficacy, they were only recently legally allowed. And there are many barriers to their use. So, for example, doctors can only prescribe so many prescriptions of methadone or Suboxone. And to get methadone, you have to go every single day. And I've seen this with my brother, and there are just barriers to use, which are extremely challenging. So, as I said, there's no perfect treatment for addiction. And what's going to be effective is going to differ across individuals. But what is extremely important to understand is that among opioid addicts, around 91% who are currently in treatment will experience at least one relapse. And of those who relapse, over half will relapse within the first week. So what this statistic really points out is that addiction is rarely ever a one-time, treatment is rarely ever a one-time thing, and that addiction is a chronic illness. So for those who aren't ready to get clean, the addiction compels them to use despite the harmful consequences. And so they often fail to use drugs in a safe manner, and as a result, the mental and physical health consequences run rampant. So for example, without access to clean needles, IV drug users are really high risk for many infectious diseases such as HIV, tuberculosis, hepatitis C, and also things like collapsed veins and abscesses can turn to whole body infections. And my brother's been hospitalized many times, and he has a lot of these health issues, and it's really troubling that these health issues could have been prevented with greater understanding of the harm reduction approach. So the harm reduction approach is essentially a set of public health policies which attempt to reduce these harmful consequences associated with drug use. So it really attempts to meet the user where they're at. It's not trying to impose anything on them. It says, I understand where you are. If you're not ready to get clean, let's at least help you. Let's at least make sure that you're using a safe way and you're not suffering from these health consequences, which are so troubling. So harm reduction involves things like access to addiction specialized health care, overdose prevention education, needle exchanges in which someone will get a used needle and get a clean needle. So that encourages use of clean needles and also gets dirty needles off of the street. And also the overdose reversal medication, naloxone, which has saved thousands of lives. So what's really troubling about harm reduction is that a lot of people think that it encourages drug use. Data does not show that. Instead, it shows that harm reduction reduces infectious disease transmission, greatly reduces overdose deaths, and really just helps individuals struggling with addiction from suffering those consequences that make addiction so much more troubling. So, I want you guys to all close your eyes and imagine something for a moment. So imagine that you've grown up with severe depression and social anxiety, which hinders you from making connections with others. You feel like an outcast in school, you're bullied, and you begin failing your classes. You finally need a friend, and the friend introduces you to opioid painkillers. The painkillers enable you to escape the pain for the first time in your life. And soon the casual use turns into a severe addiction. Others begin finding out, and you feel stigmatized and discriminated against, only increasing your emotional pain. Your family finds out, and hearing the myth of this tough love approach, they send you to a harsh boot camp, which is extremely traumatizing. After leaving the boot camp, you immediately relapse. Your family is frustrated and kicks you out, and now on the street, you have no money and you resort to stealing to survive. You're picked up by the police one day, and now you're in jail. Upon leaving jail, now you have a criminal record. A criminal record will prevent you from getting a job or from getting certain benefits from the state. Your family still doesn't let you in, and you're on the street with no job and this severe addiction and still no money, and you resort to selling drugs because it enables you to make more money to survive and to fuel your addiction, which is only becoming more and more expensive. Without a support system, without any other viable way to make money, and with no friends outside of those in the drug trade, selling and using drugs has become your life, and you see no way out. Okay, y'all can open your eyes. So this is the current situation of many individuals suffering from addiction. America misunderstands addiction, and as a result, we criminalize, stigmatize, and marginalize individuals. So our current approach is really heavily based in the antiquated war on drugs, which, as it sounds, is an aggressive approach that is focused on criminalizing drug users. So it's really important to understand that criminalization does not lead to deterrence. I don't know why we still think that, not you guys, but why our government still seems to think that, but it doesn't. Criminalization doesn't at all lead to deterrence. I talked to my own brother, and I talked to many individuals, and the data suggests that criminalization does not deter users. And so it's estimated that around 45% of incarcerated individuals have some mental health problem in addition to substance abuse or addiction. That statistic is also extremely troubling because treatment services for mental illnesses and addiction are greatly lacking within these settings. So, also, criminalization results in individuals having a criminal record. And like I said, with a criminal record, it becomes harder to get a job and harder to get certain benefits from the state. For example, my own brother has a criminal record, cannot find a job. Also, criminalization fosters this moral failing myth of addiction, this idea that it's bad and we need to punish them, and thus addiction must be a moral failing, right? Because if that's what the law says, and that's what it must be. And so, in summary, criminalization leads to all of these detrimental effects: unemployment, shame, guilt, discrimination, lack of social support, lack of purpose if you don't have a job. And all of these things only further isolate the addict and worsen the addiction. So, you guys might be asking, all this is bad news, so what does work? Well, Portugal provides us with a perfect case study on this topic. In the 1990s, Portugal was facing a huge drug epidemic, especially linked to opioids and heroin. And the government first adopted the American approach of waging a war on drugs, so they passed really tough anti-drug laws and threw thousands of users in jail. But, as we know, the problem only continued to worsen. So, the government decided to hand the problem over to the experts. So they appointed a commission of doctors, lawyers, activists, social workers, and other specialists to devise a new solution. That sounds like a great idea, right? And so what these specialists came up with is a new plan to combat the drug epidemic. And that was enacted in 2001. The whole crux of this new approach was to treat addiction as a medical condition rather than a criminal offense. So what they first did is decriminalize all drugs. And what I want to point out, because I know decriminalization is, when I bring that up with people, it seems to shock them, because they seem to think that all drugs are all of a sudden legal and it's a free-for-all, and it's not like that. What Portugal did is they removed criminal penalties associated with possessing or using a drug, but people who were selling drugs were, of course, still prosecuted. Also, if you're caught possessing or using a drug, you're not just let off scotch-free, so you might be handed a fine. But what's important is that you're directed to a panel of specialists who are going to devise a treatment plan for you. That panel is composed of like the commission, it's doctors, lawyers, activists, and specialists who understand your condition. Also, now Portugal could funnel a lot of money that was going to criminalization, which I'm sure you guys know, running jails and criminalizing people is extremely expensive. So they could funnel that money into prevention and treatment. So what they did is they built more hospitals, they built more treatment and rehabilitation facilities, and they funded programs that focus on prevention as well as harm reduction, which I mentioned earlier. Something also that I think is really great that Portugal did is they wanted to reintegrate drug users into society. And so they tried to assist them in getting jobs by subsidizing companies that would hire them. So, did it work? Yes. This radical approach was extremely successful. So, Portuguese officials estimate that since this new approach, the number of heroin users has dropped by about half, from around 100,000 to around 50,000. Also, infectious disease rates, such as HIV, have dropped dramatically. So, this is a graph of the newly diagnosed cases of HIV and AIDS among drug users over time. And like I said, 2001 is when these policies were enacted, and that drop is extremely significant. And that graph is also mirrored in other infectious diseases. Also, the rates of overdose dropped dramatically. And now Portugal has one of the lowest overdose rates in all of Europe. So it's right down there, all the way at the bottom of the graph. So, as John Henry said, in the US, 90% of the money spent on drug policy goes towards punishment and criminalization, essentially, and 10% goes to treatment and prevention. In Portugal, the ratio is the exact opposite. So I think you guys are smart enough to see that America and Portugal's strategies stand in stark opposition. Portugal now understands and sees addiction as a medical condition. They understand the adversity faced by the user, and they attempt to reintegrate them into society as well as treat them. Conversely, America treats addiction as a moral failing and a criminal offense, and only further isolates the addict from society. So if we want to be effective in combating this drug epidemic, we really need to change our approach and change the way we see addiction. So I speak to you all with aspiration and a lot of hope for the future. Because I know that right now it may not seem that our government always speaks for us, and it's frustrating every day, but we are the future leaders and activists of this country, and we have the ability to fight for this change. So I just want to leave off with a quote from the US Surgeon General, Dr. Megan Murphy, who said, "It's time to change the way we view addiction, not as a moral failing, but as a chronic illness that must be treated with skill, urgency, and compassion. The way we address this crisis is a test for America." Thank you.